Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Sig Sauer P320 XTEN, chambered in 10mm. Now again, kind of like last week's video, let's clear the gun so that you know I'm working with the safe gun here. Move the magazine, clear the chamber, and we're ready for review. Now kind of like last week's video when I reviewed the Sig Sauer 9mm handgun, the P365 XL. In this one, I'm going to be using the same kind of format. I'm going to review a few things that I love about it, of course why I got it, and then some of the things I don't like about it, and who this gun might be good for. So with that, let's get right into it. The primary and the only reason I got this was because I'm going to be hiking around in grizzly country this year, and probably next year I'll likely be hunting in grizzly country, and a 10mm makes me feel a lot safer than a 9mm. My wife actually encouraged me to get something bigger. I was actually going to roll with the P365 XL that I reviewed last week because you can load it with ammo specifically designed for bears. But if you could go bigger, you can shoot faster bullets with a 10mm. Why not? So that's why I picked this one up. A couple of things that I like about it. I love how accurate it is. And a couple things go into that. If you remember last week's video, when I reviewed the 9, one of the things about it being so small is that it can be inaccurate when you're pulling the trigger and it can move the gun around. Having a shorter barrel also leads to a more inaccurate shooting experience if you're not familiar or practiced with the weapon. With this particular gun, the first time I took it out, I was super accurate with it. And it's because it's way heavier than the other one. The longer barrel helps me stay on target. The recoil kind of shoots backward instead of to the side when I'm pulling the trigger, because when I pull the trigger, the barrel isn't moving as much as it did on the other gun. Maybe it's a personal thing, but I felt that it was way more accurate without practicing as much with it. Of course, I just took it out of the box, took it to the range, and I was dead on accurate with it compared to the 9mm, where I needed to work with it a little bit and kind of pin down my form before I became accurate with it. I love that it's big. I love that it delivers a much heavier bullet much faster. So just kind of a comparison's sake, when you're shooting a 10mm, my practice rounds are 180 grain. That's kind of the low end for a 10mm round. Typically, if I'm carrying bear defense rounds, 220 grain bullets. Compared to a 9mm that shoots 127 grain bullets or 147 grain bullets, there's a huge difference in the size of the bullet that it's shooting. And then you look at the 10mm, you're shooting a much heavier bullet, much faster. So what's not to like about that, right? Recoil is very manageable. So all that aside, shooting a bigger bullet and faster, the recoil is very manageable for the 10mm in the X10, which I love about it. I wasn't expecting it. The first time I went out and I shot the gun, I put it on my target and I was like kind of grimacing, preparing for a giant blowback. And it wasn't like at all. I almost compared it to the 9mm that I shoot because when you think about it, when you have a heavier weapon, it's helping absorb more of that recoil. Whereas a lighter weapon like the 365 XL in 9mm, you feel the recoil a little more because it's smaller package and more of that energy is being directed back at you. So I love that about this gun, is how accurate it was. The other thing I really love, and this, if you remember last week's video, this is one of the things I griped about on the other gun, is the magazine capacity. So the magazine capacity here on the X10 is 15 rounds plus 1, meaning 15 rounds the mag with 1 in the chamber, which is a lot of firepower. So kind of to summarize all of that, it shoots bigger, shoots faster, shoots more bullets out of the 10mm than it does out of the other one. So what's not to love about that, right? What I don't like about it, I had to really think about this and kind of maybe nitpick a little bit about, something that somebody might not like about it. There was nothing I didn't like about it for the most part, but I could see one thing someone complaining about is ammo for 10mm is a lot more expensive than 9mm. Again, more powder, heavier bullets are going to be more expensive. 10mm is not as commonly used anymore by people, so of course the price is going to be higher because less of it is made. As an example, to give you a comparison, 50 rounds of this practice ammo that I got for $35. I know the ammo that I'll use for bear defense is more like $45 for 20, so over $2 a round, which is very, very expensive. That's like a rifle round. And that could be something that someone has a gripe with, is the ammo price. The other thing is, and again, I'm a bigger person, but one thing that someone might not like about it is because it's bigger and because it's heavier, it's not the most ideal for concealed carry. You can definitely conceal carry or everyday carry this in a holster. Appendix might be a little big. Like if I put it here and put my shirt over it, it's very, very big. It's going above my belly button and poking me above my belly button. So it's not the most ideal for concealed carry. All that said, I am still gonna find ways to conceal carry this because I prefer this gun over the other, honestly. If you're a smaller person and you have smaller hands and you have a smaller frame, this gun might be harder for you to shoot than a 9mm, the 9mm that I reviewed last week. And that's just because of all the firepower and how heavy it is. So if I'm 195 pounds and 6'2", if you're a 135 pound female that's 5'2", using this gun is gonna feel a little more uncomfortable than shooting a 9mm, as an example. So those are some things that, some people might gripe with. My wife probably won't like shooting this gun because the recoil is a little more powerful than the other gun, but just as an example, those are a couple things that people might not like about it. Some cool things though, is it is cut for optics. So you can see here, I can put a red dot on it. I likely won't because I typically only carry this around when I'm hunting. And when I'm hunting, I don't really need a red dot. Well, it makes things a little nicer. I don't need it. And they can be expensive and I don't want to pay more just for using it a few times per year. It is also cut for a light down here as a rail. I will likely put a light on it in scenarios where that might be useful, is like if I'm in grizzly country and I'm trying to recover an elk and it's dark, I'm gonna have this out and I'm gonna have the light on because I don't know and I don't want a grizzly to be claiming my food or coming up behind me. So light will be on here as well. So that's the review of the Sig P320 XTEN in 10mm. It is my favorite pistol. It's newer to me, but even when the newness shines off, I think this is still gonna be my go-to pistol for just about everything, especially when I'm walking around in the woods. 10mm is gonna be on me instead of the 9. So hope you liked this review. If you did, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll have some more good stuff coming out this summer. So thank you all for watching.